TLDR Learning presents the complete major and micro episodes for the month of November. Brought together in their full long-form versions, it took weeks of research, writing, and editing to craft these stories, but we're proud to share them with you in this cinematic learning format. Through history, science, and motivation, our goal remains the same: to help you learn deeply, think critically, and evolve with every watch. Remember to leave this on in the background. If you want to learn how to use these videos, check the description below. If you enjoy this content, like, comment, subscribe, and share with someone you care about. Micro's Compilation. The science behind the story. Every micro episode 1 to 8 condensed into one immersive experience. The neuroscience, psychology, and human behavior that explain history's most powerful moments. From learning and memory to resilience and leadership, these episodes reveal how the mind is both the battlefield and the blueprint of civilization. TLDR Learning presents the science of incidental learning. Too long, didn't read. But your brain never stops learning. Even when you think you're zoning out, scrolling, driving, daydreaming, it's still taking notes. This is incidental learning, the science of learning by accident. You don't choose it. You don't schedule it. It just happens. Every time you listen to a podcast in traffic, overhear a conversation, or absorb patterns in a game, your brain updates itself silently. In this episode, we'll break down why your mind learns when you're distracted, how the brain decides what's worth saving, and how you can use this to your advantage. To learn more by doing less. Welcome to TLDR Learning. Learn while you live. The hidden classroom. Most of the learning you do in life doesn't happen in school. It happens in motion, in the car, at the gym, walking the dog. That's because your brain's default mode network, the system that lights up when you're not actively focusing, is never idle. It's the mind's background processor. It connects loose thoughts, builds meaning, and filters information from your surroundings. You might think you're just daydreaming, but inside, neurons are replaying patterns, strengthening connections, and linking old ideas to new ones. This is why your best ideas often appear when you're driving or showering. Your attention steps aside, and your subconscious steps forward. The incidental effect. Psychologists discovered this phenomenon decades ago. In 1932, Frederick Bartlett asked people to recall stories they had accidentally read, not studied. They remembered the general meaning, but reshaped the details to fit their worldview. That's the essence of incidental learning. The brain captures information through exposure, not effort. It doesn't memorize, it interprets. When you drive listening to language podcasts, your subconscious tracks the rhythm, tone, and structure of speech, even if you're not paying attention. Repetition turns chaos into comprehension. Your neurons start predicting patterns before you realize they exist. That's how children learn language, and how adults can rewire their habits without noticing. Learning while distracted. So how does this work when your brain is busy? Think of your attention as a spotlight. Even when that light points elsewhere, the room isn't dark. The shadows, sounds, visuals, words are still recorded. This process uses what neuroscientists call implicit memory formation. It's the storage of knowledge without awareness, like remembering a tune you never tried to learn. When you multitask, your brain filters, ranks, and files experiences based on emotional relevance and novelty. Something that feels important, a tone, a story, a question, gets tagged for later. Hours later, while resting, Your hippocampus quietly replays those moments, integrating them into your long-term model of the world. You didn't study, you didn't plan, you simply lived and learned how to use it. The trick is not to force learning, but to design your environment to make it inevitable. Fill your commute with podcasts that challenge your worldview. Keep educational videos running while you cook. Rotate your playlist between music and meaningful conversation. Surround yourself with people and content that reflect what you want to understand. You're not memorizing, you're immersing. Over time, these fragments build context. Context becomes intuition, and intuition becomes intelligence. Every idle moment is a classroom. Every distraction, a data point. The mind never stops listening, even when you think it's quiet. Final point. So next time you find yourself lost in thought, remember, that's not wasted time. That's your mind rehearsing the next version of you. Incidental learning is proof that your brain doesn't wait for permission. It adapts, it grows, it learns constantly. Too long, didn't read, but your brain did anyway. This is TLDR Learning. Learn while you live. Thank you for watching TLDR Learning. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. There is real research and a team of people working together to bring you these videos. We hope you enjoy them as much as we did making them. Check our channel for more content like this. See you in the next one. TLDR Learning presents The Science of Learning During Sleep. Too long, didn't read, but while you sleep, your brain is still awake. Every night, your mind runs its own private class, replaying memories, testing connections, and rebuilding you from the inside out. You think you're resting, but your neurons are rehearsing. This is sleep-dependent learning, the science of how memory consolidates when you're unconscious. Tonight, we'll uncover how dreams shape your recall, how your brain sorts what stays and what fades, and how to use sleep as a secret training tool for your mind. Welcome to TLDR Learning. Learn while you live. The night shift. Your brain doesn't sleep the way you do. It rotates through a sequence of states: light sleep, deep sleep, and REM. Each stage performs a different kind of data maintenance. In slow-wave sleep, your hippocampus, the temporary memory center, replays the events of the day in compressed bursts. It's like watching your day sped up 100 times faster. During those replays, the cortex, your long-term storage, listens closely. Connections that repeat get reinforced. Those that fade are deleted. It's memory triage, deciding what matters and what doesn't. When you wake, the brain has quietly rewritten its code. How sleep rebuilds memory. Imagine your mind as a network of cities connected by roads. Every new memory builds a fresh path. When you sleep, construction begins. Weak roads get paved, dead ends are cleared, and strong highways are reinforced. Studies show that people who sleep after learning recall information 20 to 40% better than those who stay awake. Musicians, athletes, even chess players, all improve overnight without practice. That's because sleep turns fragile short-term traces into durable, efficient networks. The aha moments you wake up with. They're the brain stitching together ideas it couldn't connect before. Dreams aren't random. They're data compression in motion, dreams and learning. When REM sleep begins, logic relaxes and creativity takes over. The brain starts blending memories, emotions, and abstract fragments into dream stories. To you, they feel surreal. To your brain, they're simulation drills. Dreaming lets your subconscious test scenarios, explore solutions, and process feelings without risk. It's cognitive training disguised as chaos. REM helps you extract meaning, not just memory. That's why insight, like the structure of DNA or melodies from composers, often arrives after a night's rest. Your brain doesn't just replay the past, it rehearses the future. How to use sleep as a learning tool. You can train your brain to learn more efficiently while you rest, not by staying up, but by preparing your mind before you shut down. Review key ideas before bed. Don't cram. Just revisit what matters. Sleep within 3 hours of learning. It locks in short-term data. Avoid bright screens before sleep. Light delays melatonin, pushing back your memory cycle. Use consistent sleep timing. The hippocampus thrives on rhythm. The goal isn't to work harder, it's to let the brain finish its job. You learn when you study, but you remember when you sleep. So next time you fall asleep, think of it as the night shift for your mind. It's not idle. It's rebuilding the infrastructure of who you are. Every memory, every skill, every insight, replayed, remixed, and refiled for tomorrow. Sleep isn't the end of learning. It's where the learning begins. Too long, didn't read, but your brain did anyway. This is TLDR Learning. Learn while you live. Thank you for watching TLDR Learning. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. There is real research and a team of people working together to bring you these videos. We hope you enjoy them as much as we did making them. Check our channel for more content like this. See you in the next one. TLDR Learning presents the science of procedural memory. The body remembers. Too long, didn't read. But the truth is, your body remembers before your mind does. You can forget a name, a date, an address, but never how to ride a bike. That's the quiet miracle of procedural memory, the form of learning that hides in muscle, rhythm, and repetition. Every motion you've ever mastered began as noise. A toddler reaching, a driver stalling, a pianist fumbling. Then slowly, repetition sculpts chaos into grace. Neurons stop guessing and start synchronizing, firing faster, cleaner, tighter. The motion no longer belongs to thought, it belongs to instinct. Inside your brain, 3 regions form the trinity of mastery. The basal ganglia, which selects what to repeat. The motor cortex, which executes the movement. And the cerebellum, the silent editor that perfects it. Together they create the architecture of habit, turning trial into timing, timing into rhythm, and rhythm into art. You don't think your way into excellence, you train into it. And somewhere along the path, the brain decides you've done enough thinking. It takes the reins. That's the moment mastery begins. Not when you know what to do, but when you no longer have to remember how. The code of repetition. Every skill you own is written in electric ink. Each repetition strengthens microscopic insulation around your neurons. The myelin sheath. More myelin, faster signals. More signals, smoother motion. That's the difference between hesitation and fluidity, between effort and ease. A beginner's brain is noisy. Neurons fire unevenly, wasting energy in chaos. An expert's brain is silent, pure efficiency. The mastery isn't louder, it's quieter. Practice isn't about burning hours. It's about compressing chaos into precision. The science is brutal in its simplicity. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Every rep forges speed. Every correction refines accuracy. Over time, movement becomes identity. You are what you repeat. This is why obsession feels holy to artists and athletes alike. It isn't madness, it's optimization. Each deliberate repetition carves a groove into the mind until thought is obsolete. A craftsman doesn't remember how to shape clay. His hands recall it for him. A fighter doesn't think of balance. His body calculates before he knows he's falling. That is the language of procedural memory. Syntax without speech, logic without words, mastery without awareness. When thinking gets in the way, then comes the paradox. The better you get, the less you can think about it, because thought interferes. When the conscious mind tries to manage the unconscious, skill collapses. Psychologists call it explicit interference, what athletes know simply as choking. The cortex, eager to help, starts analyzing each micro-movement. But procedural systems don't need supervision. They need freedom. Overthinking pulls mastery apart one calculation at a time. The trick is to trust the code you've built. In the zone, flow state, the prefrontal cortex, the seat of doubt, goes quiet. Adrenaline smooths attention into a single seamless line. Action and awareness merge. You stop doing the task and start being the task. Every expert describes it the same. I wasn't playing, it was playing itself. That's the symphony of neurons performing in silence. Myelinated pathways firing like music following invisible sheet notes. Effortless precision is not magic, it's architecture. Built through repetition, preserved through trust. Training automatic intelligence. Procedural memory can't be forced, but it can be cultivated. The formula is deceptively simple. Repetition, variation, rest. Practice slowly. Accuracy breeds speed. Repeat often. Consistency breeds endurance. Rest deeply. Sleep welds skill into permanence. Sleep is where the code compiles. Your brain replays motor patterns in micro-dreams, strengthening the correct wiring and discarding waste. That's why practice before bed outperforms morning drills. You go to sleep as a student and wake up slightly more expert. To train automatic intelligence, treat every repetition like a recording. Focus on precision, not power. Perfection at half speed beats chaos at full. Vary the setting, the sound, the surface. The brain generalizes patterns through change. And above all, detach from outcome. Effort is the seed. Patience is the soil. Because procedural memory is proof that intelligence doesn't end at the skull. It lives in fingertips, in stride, in breath. Every repetition writes a line of code deeper into who you are. Too long, didn't read, but your body did anyway. This is TLDR Learning. Learn while you live. Thank you for watching TLDR Learning. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. There is real research and a team of people working together to bring you these videos. We hope you enjoy them as much as we did making them. Check our channel for more content like this. See you in the next one. TLDR Learning presents The Science of Mirror Neurons and Leadership. The silent language of imitation. When you watch someone lift a cup, the same neurons fire in your brain as if you lifted it. This is the foundation of empathy, imitation, and influence, the work of mirror neurons. Discovered in the early 1990s in the brains of macaque monkeys, these cells changed how we understood human connection. They revealed that observation isn't passive, it's participation. Every gesture you witness, every tone you hear, writes a faint echo inside you. The human brain doesn't just perceive others, it rehearses them. It's why yawns spread, laughter ripples, and fear travels through crowds faster than logic can intervene. We are biologically wired to sync. In the context of leadership, that resonance becomes a force. When a commander stands unshaken, soldiers steady. When a speaker breathes calm into chaos, audiences exhale in rhythm. Confidence, empathy, composure. They're contagious because mirror neurons turn one person's internal state into another's blueprint. The great leaders of history didn't merely issue orders. They broadcast emotion through presence. Leadership begins before words. It's posture, tone, micro-expression. The invisible communication the nervous system reads instinctively. Influence starts in silence, spreads through observation, and culminates in trust. That's the neural origin of charisma. When the mind of one synchronizes with the rhythm of many, the neural architecture of influence. Inside the frontal and parietal lobes lies a network built for imitation. When we see an action, our mirror system decodes intent, not just movement, but meaning. It predicts what the person will do next. That predictive empathy is the core of social intelligence. Leaders unconsciously train this system in followers. Repeated exposure to a role model wires similar neural patterns. Discipline, emotional regulation, courage. It's not magic, it's neural mimicry. Mentorship, military drill, artistic apprenticeship, all rely on this quiet transfer of pattern. Charisma, then, is neurological synchronization. The leader's internal coherence becomes the group's compass. When Alexander rode at the front, his soldiers didn't mirror the words, "Follow me." Their neurons mirrored his certainty. That synchrony compressed fear into momentum. Individual minds beating in collective rhythm. Modern neuroscience confirms what philosophy always sensed. People don't remember speeches. They remember states of being. A leader's biology becomes contagious energy. And in crisis, that contagion determines whether groups panic or prevail. Mirror neurons don't care for rank, only a resonance. To lead is to model the emotion you wish to multiply. The neural frontier of command isn't control. It's coherence, building empathy and building leaders. It is imperative that you comprehend the nexus. Empathy isn't a soft skill, it's a neurological bridge. When mirror neurons activate, boundaries blur between self and other. You feel another's emotion before you interpret it. That's what allows compassion, mentorship, and unity to scale beyond instinct. Leadership rooted in empathy doesn't weaken command, it amplifies it. A leader who can sense morale before metrics, fatigue before failure, is biologically ahead of crisis. Their mirror system reads signals before language translates them. It's pattern recognition turned human. But empathy requires discipline. Overload collapses the circuit. Compassion fatigue, burnout, withdrawal. Great leaders learn to balance resonance with regulation, sensing deeply without drowning in it. It's emotional intelligence at the cellular level. In teams, this becomes a shared feedback loop. The group mirrors the leader mirrors the group. Trust isn't declared, it's demonstrated through neural alignment. That's why rituals, salutes, chants, synchronized motion exist. They entrain rhythm between minds. History remembers leaders not for what they ordered, but for what they embodied. Their states became signals, their signals became systems, their systems became legacies. That's the science of influence, and the art of being human. Too long, didn't read, but your neurons did anyway. This is TLDR Learning. Learn while you live. Thank you for watching TLDR Learning. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. There is real research and a team of people working together to bring you these videos. We hope you enjoy them as much as we did making them. Check our channel for more content like this. See you in the next one. TLDR Learning presents What Your Brain Does While You Sleep, The Night Within. When the lights go out, your mind doesn't rest. It reorganizes. Every night, your brain begins a private shift that no one else witnesses. Memories replay, pathways rewire, and emotions file themselves into order. Sleep isn't escape, it's engineering. In the first few minutes of drifting, brain waves slow into rolling alpha and theta rhythms. Your consciousness fades, but activity doesn't stop. It migrates. Electrical storms flicker through the hippocampus, sending bursts of data toward the cortex. These are the raw tapes of your day, experiences, sounds, mistakes, lessons, all cued for review. Then, in slow-wave sleep, the body locks down. Heart rate falls, temperature drops, but the mind becomes louder beneath the silence. Neurons pulse in synchronized waves, replaying fragments of waking life in compressed form. It's the brain's nightly rehearsal, sorting what to keep, what to erase, and what to strengthen. You dream later, but memory begins here. The hippocampus acts like a temporary drive, and deep sleep performs the transfer. Without this phase, yesterday fades into static. With it, learning crystallizes. You are literally rebuilt by the hours you can't remember, the dream architect. As the night deepens, your brain changes directors. Slow waves give way to chaos, rapid eye movement, irregular breathing, vivid imagery. The conscious gate reopens, but the guards of logic are asleep. This is REM, the dream laboratory. In REM, fragments of reality are rearranged into impossible narratives. Your mind runs simulations using emotional data. It blends fear, hope, memory, and imagination into rehearsals for possible futures. The surrealism isn't error, it's experimentation. By disorganizing, the brain discovers. Creativity studies show REM connects distant networks, the hippocampus with the limbic system, logic with emotion. It's where insights are born. Composers hear melodies, inventors see mechanisms, generals dream of maneuvers they've never practiced. Dreams are cognitive alchemy, turning reflection into foresight. Yet REM isn't endless freedom, it's calibration. Your brain tests emotional load, resolving unfinished reactions from the day. That's why dreams feel symbolic. They're emotional equations solved through metaphor. You wake lighter because the brain has already processed what words couldn't. Sleep isn't just maintenance, it's meaning-making, the science of renewal. By dawn, the mind begins its final act, integration. Cortisol rises, preparing consciousness to return. But before you open your eyes, neural housekeeping completes its sweep. Glial cells flush waste proteins, pruning removes redundant connections, and the system resets for clarity. This is why exhaustion feels foggy. Without sleep, the brain is unwashed. In these closing cycles, the body repairs tissue, balances hormones, and recalibrates immune response. Memory, emotion, metabolism, all tuned to a quieter rhythm. The architecture of identity stabilizes so the day ahead doesn't collapse under yesterday's noise. Dreams fade, but their residue lingers as intuition, creativity, peace. You might wake with a solution you never consciously built, That's the proof of nocturnal intelligence. Learning that occurs without effort. Sleep is evolution's classroom. It is the space where biology teaches consciousness how to be human again. So when you lie down tonight, remember, you're not turning off. You're handing the controls to the deeper engineer. Too long, didn't read, but your brain did anyway. This is TLDR Learning. Learn while you live. Thank you for watching TLDR Learning. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. There is real research and a team of people working together to bring you these videos. We hope you enjoy them as much as we did making them. Check our channel for more content like this. See you in the next one. TLDR Learning presents Trauma and Resilience, the Fracture and the Frame. Trauma doesn't vanish, it reorganizes. When the human mind breaks, it doesn't shatter cleanly, it folds. Circuits meant for calm turn hypervigilant, memory loops tighten, and the body begins to listen for danger that may never come. This isn't weakness. It's adaptation pushed to its limit. In trauma, the amygdala becomes the alarm that never stops ringing. The hippocampus, built for sequencing time, starts fragmenting the past into flashes instead of stories. Moments that should remain behind feel current because the brain's clock malfunctions under fear. That's why survivors relive instead of remember. Yet hidden inside that chaos lies potential. When the system adapts to survive, it also reveals how deep resilience can run. Neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to rewire, doesn't vanish after injury. It intensifies when meaning returns. Therapy, art, ritual, even storytelling. Each becomes a rewiring ritual, training the mind to file memories instead of fight them. Resilience isn't erasure, it's reorganization. The same machinery that encoded terror can encode strength. Survival changes the architecture, but with conscious reconstruction, that architecture becomes fortress, not prison. The anatomy of recovery. Healing begins not with forgetting, but with integration. Every exposure therapy session, every controlled memory revisit, teaches the brain to differentiate then from now. The prefrontal cortex, the seat of reason, gradually reclaims ground from the amygdala's chaos. Fear signals quiet when logic and safety become consistent companions. Biology mirrors ritual. Repetition breeds control. The hippocampus starts stitching scattered fragments back into timeline. What was once a flash becomes a story, and stories can be understood. Naming replaces panic. Language becomes the bridge between emotion and order. Resilience is built molecule by molecule. Cortisol drops, dopamine returns, oxytocin floods through empathy. Connection repairs isolation's damage. The body relearns that touch doesn't always hurt, sound doesn't always threaten, silence isn't always void. Neuroimaging shows that post-traumatic growth literally thickens the prefrontal grey matter. Proof that confronting the past forges structure, not weakness. To heal is to practice calm until it's automatic, just as fear once was. The nervous system rewrites its code through repetition of safety, the alchemy of strength. Resilience isn't the absence of pain, it's the transformation of it. The scar doesn't disappear, it becomes signal. In neurobiological terms, trauma rewired the brain for sensitivity. But sensitivity, guided by meaning, becomes awareness. The same heightened circuitry that once scanned for threats can now detect opportunity, empathy, purpose. Survivors often describe clarity, not numbness. It's as if the mind, having faced collapse, learns to prioritize what matters. Perspective replaces panic. The neural architecture built for endurance becomes a lens for gratitude. That's the quiet brilliance of neuroplasticity. It turns damage into design. Rituals amplify that evolution. Breathwork, exercise, creativity, even disciplined routine, all trigger growth factors that sculpt the brain toward balance. Each act of consistency whispers to the nervous system, we're safe now. And safety, repeated, rewires belief. Every civilization that rose from ruins followed the same principle. After devastation, rebuild stronger, smarter, simplified. Humans do the same internally. Your brain isn't a fragile instrument, it's a forge. Too long, didn't read, but your neurons did anyway. This is TLDR Learning. Learn while you live. Thank you for watching TLDR Learning. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. There is real research and a team of people working together to bring you these videos. We hope you enjoy them as much as we did making them. Check our channel for more content like this. See you in the next one. TLDR Learning presents Neuroplasticity and Ritual. Why repetition builds empires. The architecture of change. Every empire, from Rome to your own mind, is built through repetition. Brick by brick, habit by habit, structure emerges from motion. Neuroscience calls it neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to reshape itself through use. What you repeat, you reinforce. What you neglect, you erase. Each time you act, neural circuits fire. Each repetition thickens their insulation, deepens their groove, and speeds their signal. It's not metaphor, it's wiring. Your mind is a sculptor, and your attention is the chisel. Rituals are the ancient technology of neuroplasticity. Before MRI machines, civilizations discovered that routine could rewire the soul. Warriors meditated before battle, monks chanted at dawn, craftsmen repeated prayers with their work. They weren't chasing mystery, they were engineering focus. In the modern world, we call it training, discipline, or consistency. But the essence is identical. Deliberate repetition that teaches the brain what matters. Neurons that fire together, wire together. Every repeated action is a vote for the kind of person you become. The same science that rebuilds stroke patient speech also shapes artists, soldiers, and thinkers. Ritual doesn't just restore, it evolves. It is the steady pulse behind mastery, civilization, and consciousness itself. The ritual circuit. Repetition isn't monotony. It's memory crystallized into rhythm. Inside your brain, circuits devoted to ritual link three regions: the prefrontal cortex, intention; the basal ganglia, habit; and the limbic system, emotion. Together, they turn daily motion into identity. Every repeated act tells your nervous system, this matters, and what matters strengthens. That's why military drills, religious prayer, or morning workouts all feel strangely similar. They bypass choice. Ritual transfers discipline from thought to instinct. The body remembers what the mind no longer needs to command. Over time, repetition produces coherence. The scattered neurons that once hesitated begin to fire in harmony, producing calm under stress and purpose under pressure. It's the same neurological rhythm shared by soldiers marching, monks chanting, or athletes breathing in sync before competition. Ritual builds reliability inside chaos. In leadership and culture, rituals synchronize minds. When groups act in unison, their neural oscillations align, literally creating shared tempo. That's why chants, salutes, and ceremonies matter. They unify emotion through biology. Civilizations survive when their rituals outlast crisis. Neurons, like nations, stabilize through pattern, the empire of habit. Habit is civilization's invisible architecture. Empires collapse when ritual decays and people lose the pattern that kept their minds in tune. Neuroplasticity doesn't choose sides. It strengthens whatever it's fed. Fear practiced daily becomes belief. Confidence practiced daily becomes character. The brain learns both equally well. To master your wiring, you must curate your repetitions. Every routine, from brushing your teeth to reading before sleep, is a brick in the temple of identity. There is no neutrality. Every act is instruction. Repetition makes rituals sacred not through religion, but through neurobiology. In the end, neuroplasticity proves one thing. Greatness isn't gifted, it's installed. Small actions performed consistently alter the brain as surely as water reshapes stone. Empires rise the same way minds evolve, through rhythm, patience, and pattern. So repeat what refines you. Build habits that make you stable under chaos, compassionate under pressure, and focused when the noise grows loud. That's not mysticism, that's maintenance. Too long didn't read, but your neurons did anyway. This is TLDR Learning. Learn while you live. Thank you for watching TLDR Learning. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. There is real research and a team of people working together to bring you these videos. We hope you enjoy them as much as we did making them. Check our channel for more content like this. See you in the next one. TLDR Learning presents Default Mode Network. Why Boredom Creates Brilliance. The resting mind that isn't resting. You call it daydreaming. Neuroscience calls it architecture. The moment your focus drifts, while driving, showering, or staring out the window, your brain lights up a hidden network known as the Default Mode Network, or DMN. It's not idle, it's reorganizing. The DMN is a constellation of regions: the medial prefrontal cortex, posterior cingulate cortex, and angular gyrus, that hum to life when you stop doing and start drifting. In that mental quiet, memory, emotion, and imagination begin to speak to one another. Ideas remix, patterns form, stories crystallize. It's the orchestra of self playing without a conductor. When you're bored, your attention turns inward. The brain starts weaving new associations, connecting distant thoughts you never knew belonged together. That's why your best ideas arrive in traffic, in the shower, or on a slow walk with no phone in hand. The DMN turns silence into synthesis. We spend our lives trying to stay busy. Yet brilliance is born in the pauses. Productivity lives in the prefrontal cortex, but creativity awakens in the default mode. Your mind doesn't need constant stimulation. It needs space to wander and rewire itself. Stillness is the soil of insight, the science of stillness. When focus switches off, the DMN begins cross-referencing memory with possibility. It takes archived experiences and tests them against imaginary futures. This is creative rehearsal, the brain's quiet experiment lab. The DMN links with the hippocampus to pull long-term memories and with the prefrontal cortex to simulate new outcomes. In those loops, pattern recognition and imagination merge. It's the neural origin of intuition. When knowledge transcends recall and becomes prediction, artists, scientists, and strategists rely on this without knowing it. Newton under the apple tree, Einstein on long walks, writers pacing in silence, all letting the DMN drift until insight surfaces. Boredom isn't a flaw, it's the factory floor of genius. Yet modern life suffocates that process. Endless scrolling and noise leave no gaps for reflection. Without downtime, the brain stops connecting dots. Creativity doesn't vanish, it starves. Silence, solitude, and idleness aren't luxuries. They're biological necessities for innovation. When you withdraw from stimulation, the DMN builds bridges between what you've learned and what you could become. Stillness is intelligence at rest, an evolution at work. Boredom as catalyst. Boredom is the mind's maintenance mode. When attention loses an object, awareness turns toward self. That moment of rest is where creativity and meaning converge. The DMN doesn't just create, it calibrates identity. It revises your story, aligns emotions with values, and rebalances what matters. Without this nightly and daily drift, the sense of you starts to fracture under noise. Stillness keeps consciousness coherent. Leaders, inventors, and philosophers have always used idleness as method. They walked, stared at the sea, meditated or prayed. Activities designed to free the DMN. In every quiet ritual, the brain reclaims its ability to imagine new worlds. Civilization itself is a product of people who dared to pause. So when you catch yourself restless or bored, don't rush to fill the silence. You're standing in the neural workshop of creativity. Let your mind wander. Let thought breathe. Boredom is not the absence of meaning. It's the incubation of it. Too long, didn't read. But your brain did anyway. This is TLDR Learning. Learn while you live. Thank you for watching TLDR Learning. If you enjoyed this video, consider liking, commenting, subscribing, and sharing with your friends. There is real research and a team of people working together to bring you these videos. We hope you enjoy them as much as we did making them. Check our channel for more content like this. See you in the next one.